Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. And in today's video, we are going to discuss about bucketing in Spark. So, why this training is required? I mean, you have likely used partition by or repartition. Then why we need bucketing? Using partition by, we can specify the column and do the partition, create the partition. Or else if we want the equal number of record in each partition, we can use repartition for that. Then why bucket bucket by, bucketing in Spark? Bucket by is a game changer for partitioning and joining. It can help us to create the partition, and when we'll do any white transformation like join, it will help us a lot. This session explain bucketing compares method and use a real example. Let's move forward with what is bucketing in Spark. So bucketing is a method to control data distribution in partitions. So we can create partition in Spark, right? And we, using bucketing, we can control the data distribution. Suppose for example, you have a column named city. Okay, using bucketing, you can control the records in a particular partition. You can specify the number of partitions. Suppose a whole data frame, you want to divide it into 10 part, and you want that city column to be, the categorical data which is available in city column, that need to be divided into that 10 buckets, kind of equally. Yeah, I am saying kind of, so there is also a reason for that. We will come to that later part. Okay, you define the number of files here. So in partition by, if you are using partition by, you cannot define the number of file. Right here you can define the number of files. Suppose your data frame, you want to divide that in, partition that into 3 part or 5 part or 10 part or 20 part. As per your use cases, you will define that based on a particular column, and you can create the partition of that particular div. So how it will work? It will use Spark uses bucket ID. So bucket ID here is the column, particular column we are talking about. So for this example, we have categorical data in city column, and we want to uh, partition the data using the city column. But we also want to specify how many bucket it will create. Okay, so here it will create a hash for that city column. I mean, here you are seeing bucket ID equals to hash, then column name. I mean, the column. It will create the hash for that. Here hash will be a particular number that can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or whatever. And then it will get divided by the number of buckets. You also have to specify the number, how many buckets you want. Suppose you are mentioning 10. Okay, so then it will get the reminder, and it will put the data in that particular bucket. Okay, so files are written based on that hash result. So here the hash result will get created, and file, the data in a file, in that file will get divided according to that. We'll discuss more further. So here we have example. Let's discuss this. So here you are seeing that example how we do bucket by in a data frame. So we use bucket by. This is the syntax. Bucket by, suppose we want to divide this data in 3 partitions. Okay, based on the department column. So here we have department column. Okay, based on this we want to divide this data in 3 partition. So we have HR, IT, and finance. Okay, So this 10 records will get divided into three partition, and it will get write, I mean save in a particular location which I will specify while writing. So how bucketing works internally, so you will not do this, it will happen internally itself. So how it's work: Spark compute bucket, I mean number of buckets, okay, it is equals to the hash of the department. That's when we'll come to that. Then reminder 3, okay, creates three files based on the hash values, three files, or you can say three partition based on the hash values. Buckets on department, okay. So this will be kind of full syntax. So suppose you are trying to write the file, so syntax will be df dot write dot bucket by, instead of partition by or repartition, here you can use bucket by. Here you have to specify the number of, sorry for my mistake, it should be 3, I wrote here 4 by mistake. So suppose we are doing it department, then saving it in a particular location. So how it will happen internally, here look at this table, you will get to understand. Suppose we saw in the uh, data itself, we have department column, in that we have three categorical data in the department: HR, IT, and finance. Okay, how it will work? So here you can see it will create a hash for that particular categorical data in the department, okay. So the calculation, how it calculate, that's based on actual has value, vary by system and language, but concept stays the same. So actually the thing is, it get calculated internally, you or me don't need to know that how it is getting calculated, okay, honestly speaking. So it is generating a hash value for HR. So this is the hash key for HR, this is the hash key for IT, suppose this is the hash key for finance, okay. Now whatever hash key got generated, it will divide or divide that by 3, I mean and get the reminder, okay. So here the remainder is 3, sorry 2, here it is 0, and here it is 1. That's mean all the data related to HR will get saved into partition 2 or bucket 2, where the bucket ID will be 2. All the data related to IT, I mean related to department IT, will get saved in partition 0, partition ID 0 or bucket ID 0. All the data related to finance will get saved into partition or bucket ID 1, okay. So depend on the system and language, it can vary, but the main concept here is it will get divided uh, based on the reminder and the hash. So here in this slide you can see how the file will get saved into in output layout with bucketing. So from our example we saw partition id 0, partition id 1, and partition id 2, okay. So file name will which will get saved, this will be like this, the name will be like this. No directory structure like partition by, uh, stored in high compatible table via save as table. So comparison table, so I have created a comparison to help you understand what is the difference between while you are doing partition, what what is the difference between repartition, partition by, and bucket by. So here you can see the goal of partition is evenly distributed across tasks. So when you will use the partition repartition, it will distribute the data frame equally in the partition, even it will distribute the data evenly, okay. But when you are using partition by, here when you are using partition by store data in folder by key value. Suppose there is a department column, and yeah, of course it will only take the department column as key, and then it will divide based on the demand. Suppose HR, finance, IT. Okay, so that is the way partition by work. But in bucket by, you can kind of use two things together. I mean, you can also specify the number of bucket, and the key also, based on which you want to divide the data. So that is the benefit of this, how it's work. So suppose data using has key and 10 tasks. So it just shuffle the data, and we know that shuffling is a very wide transformation. I mean, shuffling is a wide transformation, and it is very costly. So, and in partition by, write data into folder named key equals to value. So it particularly write the write the data into folders where key equals to, I mean, column equals to the column name. Okay, based on that, I mean, suppose department equals to HR, then department equals to IT, department equals to finance. So it will be like that. And the in bucket by, hashes key assigned to in buckets files. So here in bucket by, you can see it will has the key and assign. Suppose you want to create 10 buckets, then it will create 10 buckets based on the key, I mean the column you have specified. Output file structure varies depending on cluster and workload. Here output file structure will be like column name equals to the, suppose HR, column name, department equals to IT, or department equals to finance, like that. Here in bucket by, we'll get 10 fixed bucket files, like uh, part 0, part 1, part 2, part 3, like that way. Use case, improve parallelism or joint preparation. And partition by help us to filter in and scan pruning. But bucket by, efficient for efficient joins and aggregation. So one thing here, must use hype table. So here partition by, we don't have to use hype table. In partition by also, we don't have to use hype table. We can save as Spark file or CSV file, however we want. But in this case, bucket by, we have to use the hype table format. And yes, only with save as table we can use this. So it will use the hype table format. Avoid shuffle in joins. So here partition by, no. Part repartition, no. But yes, if you sites are, if both sides are bucket on the same key, if you have two data frame, and if you have bucketed the two, both the data frame using the same column, then it will use that, uh, I mean, without suppling it can join. Why not always use partition by? I mean, we already have partition by, right? Why use bucket by, and why we are ignoring the partition by? Partition by creates folder for unique values. So suppose you have HR, you have finance, you have IT, it will create, of course, three buckets for each value. High cardinality it can be there. Suppose currently you have three type of categorical data, but suppose if you are doing in a column which has more cardinality. Okay, suppose in any ID column. Okay, you are doing that. Suppose customer ID or employee ID column, you are doing that. In that case, what will happen? In that case, it will create, if you are using partition by, it will create high cardinality and too many folder or file will be there, right? But if you are using bucketing by for example, that will separate that based on the particular hash which will get generated. Suppose you want to divide that into three buckets, that you can do easily. But if you are using partition by in a column which has high cardinality, then it will get separated in too many files or too many partitions. No join optimization still requires support if you are using partition by, but in case of bucketing, it will help you a lot. Bucketing help joins. How it helps joins? If tables are bucketed by same column and count, select star from table 1, join table 2 on table 1 key equals to table 2 key. No shuffle, efficient bucketed join. I know you guys came up with some confusion also while discussing this. Let's try to clarify those. Yeah, because I had these confusions while learning about it, so I thought you also might have the same confusion. So let's try to clarify. You specify number of the bucket. Yes, via bucketed by in here you have to put the number, and column you have to put the column name, key column name, where n is the number and of the buckets, how many buckets you want to create. Equal number of record per bucket. No guarantee in this case, depend on hash distribution of the column values, but the number of bucket you want, that you will get. Suppose you want 10 buckets, you will get 10 buckets. How rows are assigned? By computing, it will compute the hash and divide that by the number of the bucket and the reminder which will be available there. Uh, it will send that particular categorical data in that particular bucket. When does it matter? During join, aggregation, and sorting for performance. It's matter very much. Real world example or use cases, data lake joins based on the customer ID. If you are trying to do it, machine learning, parallel data processing, faster ETL join and duplication, it will help you a lot. Use bucket by for large join, group by, high cardinality key. Always use save as table. Remember, Parquet file, you are saving it as Parquet file or CSV file while writing it, it will not work. Okay, you have to use save as table. Then you have to provide a table name for bucketing to take effect. Conclusion: bucketing avoids subhull, improve joint performance better than partition by for joint scenario. Choose the right strategy based on the workload. I mean, how your workload you want to perform, or what you are expecting, it depends on that. So that's it for today's video. I hope you got some learning on this. Please be with us in this channel. We are going to discuss more about Spark and other technologies. Thank you for today. Bye bye. Have a good day.